Hello, this is Mike, NoStressMike.com. I need to do some clarification here. Okay, I am into self-defense. It's extreme self-defense. I understand police disagree with just about everything I say, and military, a lot of them disagree. Anybody that has been in a lot of self-defense type situations, it's easily understood what I'm talking about. But I'm trying to help people that don't have all that experience. Okay, now the first thing I talk about, you have to have the proper tools. Now, when I say the proper tools, it can be guns, it can be knives, it can be machetes, it can be a stick. It doesn't make any difference. That tool has got to be in proper shape to do what the tool does. In other words, it has to operate right. It has to work. That's why I promote in firearms better type firearms. I don't promote the Saturday Night Special type stuff because it needs to be tough. The firearm needs to be really able to endure the roughness that goes along with self-defense. I know in in many people's minds, they just imagine, you know, a mugger walking up to them and you're shooting a mugger. Okay, well, that's not extreme. Okay, when I talk extreme, I'm talking extreme. I mean, 10, 20, I mean, things that most people think that you can't live through. You can. And that's why I made another video about will conquers skill. If you have the will, you can make it work. But along with will, you have to have a plan. And a plan doesn't work until you have the proper tools to make it work. So, first thing, you need the proper tools. You need to have the physical and the emotional abilities to follow through with whatever it is that you're going to be doing. And when you have that, then you can form a plan. And the toughest part of any violent, a life and death type violent situation, the toughest part is staying focused. Staying focused on your plan, staying focused on what it is you have to do. That is why I try to get people to use, in the way of handguns, use handguns that fits your hand. You don't have to aim. Believe it or not, there are handguns that do fit your hand. You do not have to aim. Now remember, again, we're talking self-defense. Self-defense is like 6 foot away. Okay, and that's the reason why police and military will disagree with me. Is their violent situations are further than 6 foot away. Sometimes they get close, but that's where I got a lot of my experience, was the closer than 6 foot. But the point is, they are taught to do certain things, and they are in the aggressive mood. That's the training they do, is to get them, because they're the ones that are the aggressors. They're the ones that make this stuff happen. I've talked about this before. Military doesn't go in until they are prepared to do the combat. Okay, Police, you'll notice they'll call their backup. You know they have some kind of support system behind them, no matter what it is. So their attitude is completely different. They are not into self-defense. They, most of the time, in the way of police, they either cause the situation to happen, or the situation is already happening, and they're coming into that situation. You and I, in self-defense, we avoid violent situations. So our attitude is different. Okay, so we're back to the proper tools, and now I'm talking about handguns. The proper handgun fits your hand. You will hit your target in 6 foot. If you want to do target shooting, well then you can do whatever target shooting people do. I don't know. I don't shoot targets. I shoot people. I focus on that. I plan on that. And in the past, I've had to do it. That is what I am sharing with everyone, is what I have learned in the past. And I've done it plenty of times. My Vietnam experience, but that was, like I say, it's self-defense. What I was doing was self-defense. We were in an area. We held an area. And normally at that time it was on top of hills. And most of the combat was people coming to us. That's called self-defense. I will admit, I was in Vietnam, so I put myself in that situation. But you get down to the nitty-gritty, it was self-defense. I was holding my hole along with 2 other people or 2 other Marines in this hole. And the idea was to keep everybody else out of the hole. We were defending the hole. And that is the same like it is when you are defending yourself. Okay. So with the proper handgun, you don't need to practice. The military and police will tell you, practice, practice. Practice makes perfect. Okay, examples where no practice and it still works is when somebody is fighting for their life and they don't practice and they get their hands on a pair of scissors, a rock, or in some cases a gun, and most of the time it's a revolver because it's simple enough to use, and they just use it. They had no practice, but they had a plan. They were late on getting the plan going, but they had a plan. Stop this violence, and I'm going to use this to stop the violence. They may not at the time thought, well, I'm going to grab this sharp thing and stick somebody. They didn't think about it at the time. That's because they didn't practice. And the ones with the revolver, it's the same thing. They know there's a revolver there, but they don't like guns. But violence is happening, and all they can do is grab a gun and use it without practicing. You don't need endless practice and drills for self-defense, but you do need a plan, a good workable plan. This is Mike, NoStressMike.com.